Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to listen closely today because the message I am about to share is not just ordinary, it is a revelation that can change the very trajectory of your life. You see, Archangel Michael speaks to us not in whispers but in authority, and his words today are clear. The weapon you carry is not of this world. Now pause for a moment and think about that. The tools you are relying on, the strategies you are putting all your hope in, the strength you are counting on, if they are only worldly, they will fail you. But the weapon God has given you, the power within your spirit, the authority in your name, is eternal, unstoppable, and divine. This is not about physical strength. This is about spiritual insight, clarity of purpose, and unwavering faith. Now let me tell you something most people never realize. We try to fight battles with what the world calls power. But the moment we step into the realm of God's assignment, the rules change. You cannot defeat darkness with darkness, fear with fear, or confusion with confusion. Your weapon, the one given by the Most High, is of a different caliber. It is a weapon of truth, of righteousness, of prayer, of faith that moves mountains. And here's the hook: the enemy trembles when you realize that your struggle is not yours to win alone. It is already a battlefield that God has claimed for you. You must carry it with authority, with courage, and with an understanding that nothing in this world can touch what is of God. Most people spend their entire lives trying to win battles with tools that belong to this world, thinking that money, education, influence, or connections are the ultimate weapons. But let me tell you something, all of that is temporary. All of it is limited. It can help you survive, but it cannot secure victory in the battles that matter most. The truth is, the weapon you carry is not of this world. It is far beyond anything you can see, touch, or measure. And until you understand that, you will keep fighting battles on the wrong battlefield. Here's the hook: the very thing that the enemy fears the most is what you already carry inside you, the weapon that is hidden, yet unstoppable. Think about this for a moment. People often look at someone else's success and say, if only I had what they have, I could win too. But let me challenge your thinking. The world's tools cannot guarantee victory. They are external, visible, and finite. Your weapon, however, is internal, invisible, and infinite. It is given to you by the Creator himself. It is power, authority, and an anointing that cannot be duplicated, manipulated, or defeated by the systems of this world. The hook here is simple. The very same weapon that can overcome your greatest obstacle is already within you. You don't have to beg for it, borrow it, or buy it. It is yours. You just have to recognize it, activate it, and use it boldly. Too often, we rely on our natural abilities alone, believing that strength, intelligence, or skill are enough. But the moment life challenges you in ways that exceed what the world can handle, these tools fail. They crumble under pressure. They are like swords made of clay, brittle and unreliable. But the weapon of God, the spiritual weapon, the one that Archangel Michael speaks of, is different. It is not subject to decay, weakness, or limitation. It moves through obstacles, cuts through resistance, and breaks every chain that tries to hold you down. And here's the hook: the enemy knows this. That's why your true battles always feel larger than life. Why the pressures seem unbearable. It is because the weapon you carry is divine, and it must be realized before it can be wielded. I want you to understand that you cannot see it with natural eyes, and you cannot measure it by worldly standards. This weapon operates in a different realm, a realm of faith, purpose, and divine authority. The more you recognize that it is not of this world, the more confident you become in using it. Imagine a soldier trying to fight with a stick against an army armed with swords. That is what it looks like when someone relies only on the world's resources against spiritual challenges. But when you realize your weapon is supernatural, unseen, and unstoppable, you no longer fear the battle. You step forward with authority, knowing that victory is already written in heaven. Here is the reality that changes everything: your weapon does not require you to be perfect, brilliant, or strong in the eyes of the world. It only requires alignment with purpose, courage to step into action, and faith to wield it boldly. The hook is in this: the very obstacles that seem too large, the very enemies that feel too powerful, are no match for the weapon that you already carry. It is not dependent on conditions, timing, or people, it is dependent on you choosing to recognize it and act in accordance with its power. Every time you doubt your ability, every time you feel weak, remember this: the weapon you carry is not of this world. It is beyond human understanding, beyond human limitations, and beyond the enemy's reach. And when you begin to truly grasp this reality, your perspective changes, your confidence rises, and your life begins to move in ways the world could never predict. You are no longer fighting on the enemy's terms. You are fighting from the realm of the divine, where victory is inevitable and power is limitless. Faith is the invisible engine that activates the supernatural power within you. It is the force that transforms potential into reality, that turns ordinary people into extraordinary champions. Yet, most people wait for circumstances to give them confidence, waiting for evidence before they act. That is exactly why they remain stuck. Here's the hook: the weapon you carry does not respond to logic, it responds to faith. You cannot see it with your eyes, you cannot weigh it on a scale, but when you step forward in faith, the invisible becomes unstoppable. Faith is not a feeling, it is a decision. It is choosing to act in alignment with your purpose, even when nothing in the natural world guarantees success. Let me make this very clear. Faith is not passive. It is not waiting for things to happen. Faith is bold, active, and courageous. It challenges the limits of your understanding and confronts the impossibilities that everyone else sees. The world will tell you that the situation is hopeless, that the enemy is too strong, that the problem is insurmountable. That is the very moment your faith must rise. The hook here is undeniable. Faith is your lever into the supernatural. When you refuse to rely on what you can see and instead act on what God has promised, your weapon is unleashed. Mountains move, doors open, and enemies crumble. Consider this: the greatest victories in history were not achieved by those with the largest armies, the deepest pockets, they're the most influence. They were achieved by those who understood the principle of faith. People who believed in what was unseen, acted despite opposition, and refused to let doubt dictate their path. The hook is powerful because it exposes a universal truth: the battlefield of life is not one with what is visible, it is one with what is invisible, the faith-filled weapon that resides inside you. Too many people undervalue the weapon they carry because it is not tangible. They measure power by physical strength, intelligence, or influence, and yet those things are limited. Faith, however, is unlimited. It grows, multiplies, and expands with use. The more you exercise it, the more powerful it becomes. The hook here is compelling. The moment you activate faith, the world changes around you. Challenges that seemed immovable become stepping stones. Situations that seemed hopeless become opportunities. The weapon that is not of this world is suddenly visible in its results. Faith also brings clarity and direction. When you rely on human understanding alone, you stumble, you get lost, you become anxious. But faith connects you to the divine source of all wisdom. It aligns your actions with purpose, ensuring that every step you take is powerful and precise. Here's the hook: acting in faith does not only give you victory, it protects you from missteps that would have otherwise cost you dearly. The weapon you carry is guided, controlled, and perfected by the very one who gave it to you. And this is the most critical point: faith does not guarantee that the path will be easy, but it guarantees that you will overcome. Opposition will come, difficulties will rise, but when your weapon is activated by faith, it moves through every obstacle, overcomes every enemy, and produces results that logic cannot explain. Faith is not a gamble, it is certainty in action. The hook is undeniable. Your victories are already written in the spiritual realm. Faith simply allows you to walk into them with authority. The world may doubt, circumstances may oppose, and challenges may appear impossible, but your weapon responds to faith, not fear. The moment you take hold of it, act boldly, and refuse to waver, the unseen becomes your reality. Mountains fall, chains break, and life begins to move in accordance with your alignment to God's purpose. The power is yours, but only faith unlocks it. Victory is not given to the one who is strongest, smartest, or most experienced. Victory is reserved for those who are prepared, purposeful, and aligned with the power they carry. Many people fight battles blindly, reacting to circumstances without understanding the authority they have been given. Here's the hook: you cannot win a battle you do not understand. Your weapon is not just a tool, it is a responsibility. To wield it effectively, you must know your purpose, recognize your calling, and understand that every challenge is an opportunity for your weapon to demonstrate its power. The enemy does not fear those who stumble and act in ignorance. He fears those who are ready, who stand with authority, and who know that their victory is preordained. Preparation is the bridge between potential and achievement. Too often, people wait for circumstances to prepare them, but the truth is that preparation is your duty. You cannot rely solely on opportunity, luck, or timing. You must actively align yourself with your weapon, develop your understanding of how it works, and cultivate the courage to use it without hesitation. The hook is simple but powerful. The difference between a person who experiences life and a person who dominates it lies in readiness. The weapon you carry is useless if it is left idle. It must be activated through knowledge, discipline, and strategic action. Purpose is the compass that guides your weapon. Without purpose, power becomes wasted energy, scattered in directions that produce no results. Many people chase achievements without understanding why, accumulating victories that bring temporary satisfaction but no lasting impact. But when your weapon is directed by purpose, every action becomes meaningful. Every challenge becomes a platform for demonstration. Every obstacle becomes a stepping stone toward your destiny. The hook here is striking. The power you carry was never meant to serve random goals. It was designed to fulfill a divine assignment that only you can complete. Ignoring your purpose is the greatest waste of the weapon you possess. Courage is the fuel that sustains action when fear and opposition arise. The world will test your resolve, critics will speak, and challenges will seem insurmountable. But the person who stands firm, who chooses to act despite fear, activates the weapon that is not of this world. Here's the hook. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is action in spite of it. Your weapon only reveals its full strength when you step into the battlefield with faith and determination. The moment you hesitate or doubt, the effectiveness of your power diminishes. But when you move boldly, the supernatural responds. Alignment with God's guidance ensures that your weapon does not operate in chaos. Power without direction can be dangerous, even destructive. The moment your actions are synchronized with divine purpose, every movement, every decision, every word becomes a channel for victory. The hook is undeniable. Your weapon is unstoppable not because it is large or flashy, but because it is guided by intelligence, wisdom, and authority beyond human understanding. You are not fighting alone. The weapon works in perfect harmony with the source that created it. Finally, understanding that the victory is already promised changes everything. Many people fight battles with desperation, anxiety, or uncertainty. But when you know that the fight is already won in the spiritual realm, you act with confidence and authority. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity to demonstrate the power you carry. Every opponent becomes a witness to the divine force at work in your life. The hook is profound. Your weapon is not just for protection, it is for manifesting victory in alignment with destiny. The prepared, purposeful, and faithful person does not wait for life to happen. They command it, and the weapon that is not of this world responds immediately, powerfully, and unmistakably.